amazing, and of course we have some Finnish somewhere. Good morning once again, very distinguished guests, champions of financial inclusion, and of course, ladies and ladies. You know why I said ladies and ladies, right? Alright, I know that we have some very amazing gentlemen in the room. We see you, we appreciate you, and we want to say thank you very much for joining us at this momentous occasion this morning. Ladies, can we just chorus, thank you, gentlemen?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Let's tell them thank you. Say thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Because of course, this event is about the women, right? Am I right?
Yes.
So yes, the men, thank you. We appreciate you for joining us at this event this morning. Once again, good morning, ladies, and of course the gentlemen in the room. Welcome to the Women in Fintech Forum 2024. Please put your hands together for yourself. Thank you very much. Now, the Women in Fintech Forum is a sideline event of the Digital PayExpo 2024, which has been themed redefining payment. My name is Tolu Thompson, and it is my distinct honor to be your master of ceremony for this event this morning. I will be taking you on an amazing ride from the start of this event up until the very end. Today we're gathered in this room with the theme Inclusive Finance for SMEs, thereby recognizing the role that small and medium-sized enterprises play in driving growth and prosperity in our world today. The world we live in is very open to accessibility and innovation, and therefore it's imperative that events like this are taking place to help us harness the power of fintech and create opportunity for everyone, regardless of gender, regardless of background, regardless of circumstances. And it's beautiful to see how that the fintech sector in Nigeria and Africa at large has evolved over the years. But one thing seems to be an area of focus, and I dare say an area of development and opportunity, and that is the representation of women. The underrepresentation of women in the fintech industry is an area that presents an opportunity for industry leaders to provide opportunities and make everyone thrive. So ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you for a fact that regardless of the underrepresentation, women are always winning. Women are always leading. Women are always at the forefront, taking the baton and running the race. So at this point, I want you to celebrate yourself as a beautiful woman that you are. Please put your hands together for yourself. Thank you very much. To all the women in the room who have done exceptionally well and remarkably well in their fields, your ingenuity, your resilience, and your unwavering commitment to breaking the barrier is opening more rooms and paving the way for younger women to thrive in the fintech space. And on that note, I would like to appreciate some of our speakers for this morning. Please, when I mention their names, please give them a resounding applause because they took out time from their busy schedule to be here this morning. Please let us celebrate the beautiful Roke Clear, who is the Chief Executive Officer, Shared Data Network Expansion Facilities. Please let's appreciate that. Of course, the beautiful Dr. Marachaya, I hope I got the pronunciation right. She is the Executive Officer, Non-Payment Service Bank. The ever-delectable Dr. Maki, the Managing Director, Extra Payment Solutions Limited. Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us this morning. And of course, Kemi Okusoya, Chief Executive Officer, Hydrogen. Let me carry as well with the Chief Executive Officer at Gabella Limited. Please let's put our hands together for these women who have changed the narrative and are doing so well for themselves. We're about to get into the panel session today. But before we get into that, I would like us to engage in a little affirmation. Are you ready for that? Now look to your left, look to your right, look at the beautiful woman seated next to you, or the handsome man seated next to you. Look at them and say, you are amazing. You are phenomenal. You are exceptional. You are brilliant. And I'm glad to be sitting next to you today. Now, personalize that to yourself. I'll mention your name. Tolu. can do all that I set my mind to do. I am one in a million. There is no other person like me in the entire world. Make some noise if you're proud of yourself. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and ladies, again. The gentlemen, sorry, this event is about the ladies, but okay, let me be nice. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for us to get into the panel session for today. And you know, this woman that will be moderating the panel session is one woman that I admire so much. I did my little research about her and I was really fascinated. Can I tell you a little fun fact about her? I'm going to read it out. Then, the woman has made up being an amazing award-winning global citizen, actively contributes to Ireland's 2030 and 2060. She is listed on the Forbes 30 on the 30 list for media. And according to Forbes, she is taking the narrative for young women in Africa. She is a media professional and one of the youngest newspaper editors on the African continent. She is a sustainable development professional, event host, moderator, and producer with a core focus on economic inclusion through financial inclusion and literacy advocacy. So ladies and gentlemen, with a resounding applause, let us make welcome our moderator of the panel section, the one and only Leonard from the Cameroon. Please give us a
Good morning, can you hear me? Yes. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. First of all, we clap for our amazing hosts. How talented and intelligent is she and really great in your opinion? Good morning to you all. I have to be honest, I don't think I've been so excited to moderate the panel session in a long time. And I think the reason for that is because of the audience that we have. So can you just clap for the young, inspiring women that are here today? And also all of you that are here as well. But it's so inspiring that you're here early morning ready to learn. And we hope that we will not disappoint you as we go through this amazing, amazing Women Fintech Forum. So, as you may or may not know, let me introduce myself. My name is Cameron, and I'm moderating today's amazing conversation. Let me just ask you, think about your favorite fintech company. And let me give you a moment to think about that, whether it's Nigerian or it's a global fintech company. And I'm going to come to some of the audience members for you to tell me what those companies are. So if you want to tell me, just put up your hand so I can just quickly come to you. You can just say anything. Your fintech companies, yeah, go ahead. PayPal. All right, anybody else want to say something? We have someone here.
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen, okay, great. Oh, the founder of Hydrogen is here, so that's great. And then let's take one more person. 9PSC. 9PSC, okay, great. We also have someone from 9PSC here, so that's great. Okay, so I have PayPal, Hydrogen, and 9PSC. So I was going to ask, if you think through some of your favorite fintech companies, how many of them are owned or led by women? So Hydrogen is led by women, so we can clap for that. 9PSB as well right now is being led for women-led businesses. So that's less than, somebody do the math. That's less than 10% of $51.2 billion last year. So we all know that women are highly underrepresented in the fintech space, but funnily enough, if you look at the African continent, there's statistics that show that fintechs, women entrepreneurs by far own more fintechs in Africa than they do in other continents or countries. So while we're not getting the necessary funding, there's still women out there that are leading and founding amazing fintechs. So I don't want to talk too much because today is about the amazing women that we have on our panel. We hope that today you'll be inspired, to yourself become a woman in fintech, or you'll learn from somebody's experience on the stage. I'd like to start by introducing my panelists, starting with Mrs. Ronke Kuye, who's the Chief Executive Officer at the Shared Agent Network Expansion Facilities Limited, otherwise known as SANEF. Ronke Kuye is an inspired CEO of the Shared Agent Network Expansion Facilities Limited, known as SANEF. She has over 34 years of experience in banking and financial services, including 26 years in banking. She's an expert in payments, cards, and e-business operations, financial inclusion, process transformation, and project management. Ronke's deep passion for the payment industry drives her to enhance SANEF and boost financial inclusion in Nigeria. Let's give her a resounding round of applause. We're so happy to have you with us today. Next, Branka Mrakajak. I should have asked you how to pronounce your last name, I'm so sorry. She's the Chief Executive Officer at 9 Payment Service Bank, otherwise known as 9PSD. Branka is the CEO of 9PSD, Nigeria's foremost payment service bank, dedicated to closing the financial exclusion gap in Nigeria. She's a seasoned enterprise resource planning expert with 15 years of leadership experience and notable achievements in both traditional banking and fintech industries. Branka is passionate about women's development and empowerment. Let's give her a resounding round of applause. Next is Dr. Marky Idowu, who's the Managing Director of Express Payment Solutions Ltd. Let's not be shy with our class, guys. Let's keep them going. And let's bring the energy today. Dr. Marky Idowu has over 35 years of banking and IT experience, with 28 of those years being spent in banking. As Managing Director and CEO of Express Payment Solutions Limited, she leads strategic initiatives to transform the company into Africa's preferred choice for e-payments, a staunch advocate for women's empowerment and gender equality, especially in the fintech sector. She has implemented several women's empowerment programs through the agency banking network, providing women with free POS machines, collateral, and training. Let's put our hands together for Dr. Marky Idowu. And I think the women in the audience should think about this will be you in a decade or two. So just get the inspiration from the women on stage. Next is Yemi Kerry, who's the Chief Executive Officer at Hekabella Limited. She's a leading figure in technology in Nigeria, with extensive experience in both public and private sectors. She's the CEO of Hekabella Limited, a digital transformation company. She co-founded Rising Tide Africa, a movement aimed at increasing women's participation in angel investing and promoting education, cross-border investing, and investor mentoring across Africa. Let's give her a round of applause. And last but certainly not least, let's put our hands together for Kemi Okusanya, Chief Executive Officer at Hydrogen. Kemi is a renowned leader in the financial services industry, known for her innovative and forward-thinking approach. As CEO of Hydrogen, she has driven her startup towards a transformation vision, leveraging advanced technology and service excellence. She has facilitated strategic fintech partnerships and significantly contributed to the growth and adoption of Visa Direct. She is also deeply involved in community development and empowerment initiatives, mentoring young adults and helping them to realize their true potential. Let's put our hands together for Kemi Okusanya. And let's give a resounding applause to our panelists while I get onto the stage so I can moderate this panel. So one of the things that I find very interesting about our panel here is that if we calculate the years of experience of the ladies, we're over 120 years of experience on the stage, if not more. And I think I'm just being It's just a top of head calculation. So there's a wealth of knowledge for us to tap into. And I really want this to be an interactive session, so we will also take questions towards the end, but also during the panel session itself. So my first question is for Mrs. Ronkikwe. You've been in the banking sector, you've worked in this sector for the past 35 years, right? So you have so much experience that we can learn from. I wonder if you could take us back when you first started working in banking. You know, what were payments like back then, and how have payments evolved now in 2024?
Hi, good morning all. Well, I started working ages ago. Some people were born in 1990 to be precise, when I said. We didn't have payment system back then. There was cash. Pay and receive in the banking halls. I think there was a bank that started ATM and not by, I think it was SGBM. It was the first bank that kind of started ATM in a way that wasn't really possible. I would say that digital payment as well as really took off in maybe about 2000, 2001, 2002. I think that's when we can say that that's when it took off. And since then, you know, we've got ATMs, POSs. I remember when we introduced, point of sale terminals, and you would go to a restaurant, the shop, and you ask them if you'd like to pay with your card, and they'll tell you that the POS is not working.
Yeah.
And then I used to say to them, just bring it. And, I'm there at lunch with my family, the children, so Mom, you started again. And they say, bring it, and I'll connect it. And I insist on using it. But here we are today, shops are clamoring for, then merchants are clamoring for POSs, cards are acceptable, ATMs are there, we're even moving away from ATMs to pay, digital transfers, and things. And we've got a long way.
Very nice. Does anyone on the panel want to add to what she said, to talk about what payments were like, just to set the scene a little bit for where we are now? Penny, do you want to add to what she said?
That most of us in this room, I'm sure, will remember there was a time when the traders would pay their money they'll send the money, pay it in Lagos, and then they'll have to, this was before, initially they'll carry the money in buses overnight, carry everything they're coming to buy from Lagos from the east, they'll carry the money overnight and then come. And then, of course, a lot of them were attacked on the road, they were losing money. So the first time that it was possible, the bank came up and said, you can actually pay your money in Onitsha and go and collect it to pay in Lagos. It was such a big deal. So when you look at that and see where we have to be, we've come a long way.
Absolutely, we've come a long way. Absolutely. Let's plan the progress. I'm sure some of you don't even know what it is to use a bank that's not digital. So I think it's interesting to get some history from the panel. All right, so I'd like to start with, continue with you, Yemi. Since I would love to know if you have any advice for women that are looking to develop skills that are necessary for technology-focused roles, especially if they come from non-technical backgrounds. So do you have any advice for young women who are looking to develop skills in tech, but they come from non-technical backgrounds?
Morning, ladies and some gentlemen. My trajectory of work, I decided to take a job in SAP, which was where I started my journey in technology. Although I went there because I wanted to have an administrative role, one of the things that I didn't see coming was that my bosses would leave. And when they left, SAP was trying to replace them. And I had to fill the role while they were looking for those. But the fact still remains that I didn't want anybody to know that there were no bosses. And so I had to develop the skills. I had to double my efforts. I had to make sure I went on training and development. What am I saying? you must first of all believe in yourself and be very certain that you want to go into whatever technical role that you want to take on and develop those skills. The onus is on you. And lucky enough for most people now, almost all industries are technology industries, whether you're in healthcare or education or wherever it is, right? So if you want to develop your technical skills, first and foremost, don't lock yourself to the framework that to come into technology, I must learn how to code. For those that want to learn how to code, yes, you have so many opportunities with the Coursera, Udemy, and all of those. There are so many platforms. And then, for those that do not want to code, there are other roles in technology where you can play seriously. You have your digital marketing, you have your product management, you have all sorts because of the future of work, right? And so, if you want to go in there, you must know exactly which role you want to play, and then go in there and develop yourself. Don't see the issue of your non-technical background as a disadvantage. It is actually an advantage because it is the basis, a fundamental basis for you going into technology.
I love that. So you don't necessarily have to, you can clap for that, go ahead. You don't necessarily have to be a coder to work in tech, and you can easily develop your skills and work in the technology industry. So thank you for that. I'd like to come over to you, Kevin. You built hydrogen, and I'm sure that's not an easy feat. So congratulations to you on that. What are some of the challenges that you face building hydrogen? We want this to be as open and honest so that the ladies out here can actually learn from your experiences. And could you advise any aspiring woman in Fintech that wants to do what you've done?
So I think, can you hear me?
No.
Can you hear me? All right. So I think the first thing with any new business, it's hard, right? But at the same time, it's fun. So when I think about hydrogen, we started off as a very small company. In the company today, I'm the oldest employee, so definitely I'm the only one that started off pretty much into the second phase. The first phase was the team that was going to start out, and they all had to leave at some point. But they did some good work, which is what got the license for us. And so we had to start a business. I think when you think about starting with a company, a few things come to mind. One is funding, that always comes up, and everybody knows that. But you're not going to always have all the money. And so you need to learn to bootstrap. There are times that you have to decide, is this the best use of this fund we have against everything we have to do?
Do you want to maybe explain what bootstrapping is for people that might not know?
So I'll give a very good example. So the very first IWD event, because we're also trying to celebrate and make the workplace meaningful for women. So I had my team come with this fantastic idea of seek and paint. And he said, and then we looked at the budget. I said, okay, that's 5 million naira. How many salaries am I going to pay with it at the end of the month? And so what we did was, I told the team, I said, what's the objective? Can we achieve that same objective in another way? Guess what? We had seek and paint less than 250. We did it our own way. We created it. We got the materials ourselves. And so pretty much what happens is when you're running a company, you need to look at amidst the little resources you have, how do I take this money to go far for me? Do I need to get a big office in BI from day one? Do I need to actually have 10 employees when all I really need at the first instance is 4? So those are the kind of things you definitely have to face. Another thing that you definitely would actually have to think about is the people. At the heart of every business are the people. Even if you have the best strategy, the best technology, if you get the wrong team, trust me, you're dead. And so it's about how do you identify the right talent. Not everybody is meant for a startup. Write that down. Not everybody is meant for a startup. You need to look at the DNA. You have people that are natural entrepreneurs. Those are the people you're looking for. Why? Because in a startup, there's no structure. Your job title and your job description may not end up being what you're doing. So you need people that are ready to roll their sleeves and get to rolling with you. So those are definitely two things. Other things, of course, you have the regulatory landscape. You're going to run Fintech. That's something that if you get it wrong, you can actually be dead before you go live. And so you definitely need a team keeping an eye on that for you. What are the rules? It's not like having a puff joint by the corner. There are rules in regulatory, in payment. So you have to ensure that you're keeping tabs of that. What are the rules? How do I ensure that I'm compliant? Because one fine can actually wipe out your entire capital.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And so those are definitely some top three things that come to mind, and happy to have a conversation later on if you want more. Thank you.
No, thank you for sharing that. And just while I have you, describe your ideal employee. So let's say that there's someone in the audience that's looking to work in a startup or fintech startup. Quickly in under a minute, describe to me what the ideal employee is, because there's no perfect employee, but what should these ladies be looking to work on so that they can adequately contribute to the job markets?
So very often when I'm hiring for a startup, I'm looking for employees that are ready to roll their sleeves. You don't want someone that is thinking about armchair manager. It's not going to work. You need people that have natural self-drive. You don't have people to micromanage you. So you're looking for that in the stories they tell you at the interview. So I listen to the stories a lot. I'll just have a chat with you. We'll talk about your life, talk about your dreams, talk about your past life, and I'm basically sitting through that just to listen in, to see your self-drive, to see your entrepreneurship, to see your ability to work with a team, to see your flexibility, because in a startup, you can't be a rigid person. So those are definitely some things I always look up for. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that answer. I think we can clap for that. I hope we're taking notes. So Warwick, I'm going to come to you. In building SANEF, you've worked with stakeholders in widening and deepening financial access points and services towards meeting the country's financial inclusion targets. Can you speak to your experience onboarding female agents? Can you talk to any of the differences you may have noticed in comparison to onboarding male agents?
Yeah. So first, we work with super agents and MMOs. So in SANEF, we don't onboard the agents directly. The super agents and the MMOs actually onboard them. So most of what we do is to bring them together, bring the ecosystem together, and also set targets. So one of the things we did at the beginning was in 2019 when we started, we made sure we got to the 500,000 mark for end of 2020. That was our focus. We were not really focusing on women. But once we got across that and we started to increase the number of agents, and then we started to focus on women. And so we set targets for the MMOs and the super agents to have a certain percentage of women when they go out there to onboard. So in 2021, I'd say we were at about 20%. Today, we're at about 35%. What we also do is we have this financial literacy training forums where we go, across the geopolitical zones. We celebrate women. We identify women who have done well, and we celebrate them as well. We also work with Central Bank of Nigeria in the community of practices. That is financial inclusion for women. CBN is very particular about that. So they have going out there to open accounts for women. And what we realize that we need female agents to do that as well. So even in the system today, we have about 10 or so female MDs of the principals, of either MMOs or the super agents. We didn't have that at the beginning, so we had the likes of Maki and the others.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And for those of you, so when you go to a POS person to withdraw money, so those people will be referred to as agents, and I think it's actually the easiest way for women to get into fintech, right? Or to experience what that may be like. So just a by the way for the
Just to
audience.
also add that we work with organizations that also focus on women, that women in the banking.
Okay, great.
There's a company called Mama Money, there is who focus on women as well. So
Yeah.
we partner with them.
Wonderful. You guys should definitely check out Mama Money. It's a fintech company that works directly with women entrepreneurs in markets, in rural areas, just everyday women. So definitely check them out. So Branka, I'd love to pivot a little bit and talk about access to finance, right? So we're here talking about fintech, but the reality is that a lot of women-led businesses don't have the same access to capital and investment as their male counterparts, which slows down growth and scaling of SMEs. So in your experience, what challenges do women-led SMEs or fintechs typically face in obtaining financial support? And how can you advise aspiring entrepreneurs to position themselves to enable investors to see them as investment ready?
Can you hear me? Thank you, Leila. So I would like to say that first, that there are many studies talking about this topic. So there are much more smarter people than me that couldn't figure this out. So we can talk only from our experience. A lot of studies shows that women are still fighting this gender bias. And there is no, like, if you look at the statistic, there is one that shows that companies, Fintech, that have women leadership are making 12% more profit than those who are led by men. Still, what is important also thing to say, Leila mentioned at the beginning, percentage of female founders that were funded, that was around 10%. I read somewhere like recently that majority of these companies has male leadership. So women are founders, but they appoint men to run their company. So I believe also it's important to say that we started breaking these barriers in the last 60, 70 years, talking about gender equality, talking about inclusivity. So it will not, there is no solution, yes, there is no solution to overcome this quickly. Also, studies shows that fintechs have little to do with closing gender gap when it comes to leadership and when it comes to financial inclusion. So what I would put when it comes to, there are different aspects when it comes to funding, and it goes both ways. It goes from women founders that are more averse to risk, and then we have men founders. And not to make this is a very, very broad topic, but I will say that what is needed to change, there is no quick recipe. What is needed to change? We have to change our mindset. And it starts from educational level, educational system, that we face gender bias already in first or second grade of elementary school, where we started adopting illusion that our male colleagues are more smarter than women. So it took centuries to bring us where we are today. So I would say first education, then mindset. When I say mindset, I mentioned the other day I had a discussion how long it took me to say, I was a chief risk officer covering more than 30 markets around the world. And in the last few years before I switched, I realized I'm a CEO. I'm just not paid and recognized, but I do a CEO job. And It took me a moment to say, to say, no, I want this role. So I think we are not taught as women to say out loud, look at me, I did this, and I deserve this position. So we kind of like do hard work. We sit there and we wait to be recognized by our superiors. Guess what? It doesn't happen. So hard work is not enough. In my experience, my personal experience, and I think many women share this, a woman has to be twice as good as men to be seen. So work hard, that's correct, without talent and effort that you put in yourself to educate yourself, to gain expertise and skills, then build your opportunities. We need more prominent women leaders in Fintech to empower young girls, to look up to. We didn't have this much in our time, but I think the market is slowly shifting, not at the pace we would like to, but work hard, connect, look for opportunities. Being lucky in meeting opportunities is also an aspect. It's not many people work hard throughout their life and they don't achieve their dreams. So be vocal, and that's the only advice that I can give. Thank you.
I love that. I think we can clap for that. Some very, very tangible advice for young women out there. And I think we can also clap for the fact that we have 5 women CEOs on this panel. I feel very, very privileged to be sitting with you all. And I know that your journeys here did not happen overnight. I'm sure that there was a lot of sleepless nights, very frustrating moments. So I think I have a bunch of technical questions here, but I really just want to switch it up a little bit and try and really speak to our audience that's here. Dr. Markey, could you speak to us a little bit from your particular perspective? Talk to us about a time whereby you were younger than you are now, and you were dreaming of where you are today. Could you talk to your 18-year-old self? What kind of advice would you give yourself in terms of business and your career so far?
Hello?
We can hear you, yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Thank you. So, Leila finally remembered me. Can I get a clap, please?
I'm sorry. I never forgot you. I saved the best for us.
Yes. So, as my younger self, maybe I was a bit different. So, what would I have done then that I could not do now? Or what would I tell myself? I told myself from a very early age that I'm as good as any man out there. So at no point in time did I take it to say, oh, in the office, the men should get promoted while I don't get promoted. I fought for my shirt. And that's what I encourage every young woman to do. You need to fight for your space. You're entitled to it. But I always say something. Don't look for something because you're a woman. No. You want to get it because you have the right skills. You have acquired what you need to achieve it. So right then, even when I was much younger, I always fought for my shirt. I made sure that I understood, I took extra time. As a woman, you have to give extra time. You have to study extra hard to come out tops in whatever you're doing. Because the society expects that you are the weaker sex. Never let anybody tell you you're the weaker sex. And so for me, I always had that in the background to say that I'm equal to anybody. I can achieve anything I set out to achieve. And so I always encourage women who are coming up. You must believe in yourself. That's the first thing. And know that nothing is impossible. We have work, of course, with prayers with it, and then having the right support. And that's why in going on with my career, I have mentors. It's always important to have mentors who will guide you on what to do. And that's why I encourage a lot of the older women to ensure that we actively participate in mentoring the younger generation. We need more people out there. We need more ladies in the fintech space. And just as she had mentioned, you don't have to be in coding. You can be in any section at all. So it's important that You set out your goals and decide, I will work towards it. When I was in banking, I said to myself, at 40, at 30, I wanted to be a manager. At 40, I wanted to be an MD of a bank. I almost achieved it, but at 40, they then decided to consolidate the bank, so we had much fewer banks, so it wasn't possible to become an MD anymore. But I did leave the industry as an executive director, so just one step beyond my position.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And I didn't forget you. Thank you so much for that. And I really like that you shared your personal experience there. I hope that you ladies are taking those. So we'll just have a couple more questions, and then I'd love to just go to the audience for questions. So please start thinking about the questions that you have and who the questions are for. So I'm going to ask this question to Yemi, but then I'd love for everyone to please kindly chip in after she's answered. So, we've talked about the beginnings of some of the ladies' careers. We've talked about how women entrepreneurs can access finance and what they should be doing to position themselves for it. And I've heard some personal experiences from some of our panelists. But I would love to talk about networking, right? Because we hear networking all the time. Oh, you should network. Make sure that you maintain your network. How many of us have heard that your network is your net worth? Yeah, I've definitely heard that one. But how does one network? What does it mean to network, and how important is networking in technology? So Yemi, could you answer? How important is networking in technology, and what advice do you have for women that are looking to expand their networks professionally, specifically in this technology industry? And then I'd love a networking tip from each of the ladies on the panel.
Okay. Networking is very critical. Very critical, whether you're in technology or not. It is your social capital, right? When you're looking at networking, it is not only people tell you attend events. Now you've come to these events. By the time we ask audience questions, only a few people will raise up their hands. The essence of you coming here is to take away, right? When you go to an event, a conference, it's for you to take away. Not only taking away the content of what is being said, but also taking away a connect, right? So on your table, how many people do you not know? Because it is very often women come together and they come into a space together and sit together and dialogue together, and as far as they're concerned, they attended this conference. What about you speaking to 3, 4, or 5 other women on different tables? By the end of the day, you have a list of those that you have networked with. They may not be useful today, but they'll be useful tomorrow. Next step, after you network with them, when you go home, what do you do with that list of people? You spoke to me today, so I really like you, I'd like to be your mentee, fine. I'm not going to chase after you. It is responsibility of you to connect with me and say, I met you on so and so day. I would like to have a chat with you. When can I have 15, 20 minutes? If you do not take that next step, others are there that are taking the next step. So when you go into conferences, take away and follow up. The other thing about networking and building your social capital would be, now you have online, LinkedIn, you can find me anywhere. How many people are you connecting with? And are these people the people that will influence you in one way or the other? Right? You're not just increasing your followers just because you want to meet a certain number, or your your Instagram because you want to show what's going on in your life. Be very deliberate about the things that you post. Because if you come to my office and you say you want me to employ you, one of the things I will do is to go and look at your Instagram or your Facebook or your LinkedIn. And if you tell me that, oh, I'm a very good team player, or I'm a conversationist, or I'm a creator, I can tell by looking at your content whether it's true or not. And so be very deliberate about the things that you post out there. It goes a long way in building your social capital. But please use that as a means of communication to the world, to tell them about your capabilities, your competencies, and your experience. That is what it is there for. The other thing I would say to you is, like Dr. has said, it is important that you have mentors. Mentors that have been through the kind of experiences that you're only just starting. Mentors that are peer mentors. That means in my office we have body system. So choose somebody in your office that is your body, that you can really speak with and build that rapport, because you don't know where they're going in the next 5 years, right? It is part of the social capital networking. And so all of these things have to be done deliberately. And so build your social capital in whichever way. And for women out there that have the experience and the competence, please have mentees. It's good to share. Have mentees, otherwise we will not be building women of great standards for tomorrow.
Absolutely. Let's start with that. Couldn't have said it better themselves. A quick round, Dr. Maki, any advice for the young women on networking?
Well, she's covered most of it, but I'd just like to add that not just at events, so even the people you work with. You know, I've seen some young people, when they're resigning from an office, they just leave in a nasty way. But those same people, you might meet them. When I was in the banking industry, I never thought I would go into Fintech. But I met a lot of people in that industry. And when I went into the Fintech industry, those are the same people that I'm now meeting and I'm working with. So Ronke is here as an example, who worked in the same bank years ago, 92, 93. So you can imagine if we were, I didn't get along well with her, or we left on a nasty note. When I got into the Fintech space, she was already the enemy of SANEP. And as our agency banking business, we do a lot with SANEP. So there was a synergy. A lot of the people in the Fintech space today that we work with, some of the companies, there were people I knew when I was in banking. So it's so important that those relationships, you keep them. Make sure you leave on a good note whenever you meet people. That's what I would add.
That's very good addition.
So I would say this, networking is very important, and it's important to find an environment that will inspire you. Your peers, prominent leaders, somebody that you look up, but also to exchange your experience. But it's also important not to follow other people's path. So it's important to follow your passion. What each and every of us achieved here may not be your dream, so stay true to yourself. You don't have to have it all. You don't have to give away your dreams. Just stay true to yourself, because that's what is important. And it's also important when you are moving from one job to another. Do your best. Don't close your doors. I changed 6 countries. This is my 6th country, and I'm in touch with all my investors that I work with. And they follow up on me. Sadly, they're all men, so there was no woman that I worked for. But when you reach that moment in your career to become the person that others wants to network with, if you had it hard, don't give it hard time to young women. That's not the way how we should teach and mentor each other. Lift other people up. If you manage to go up on your career ladder, don't make it hard for other women. Make it easier for them. We have hard success. Thank you.
I absolutely love that. It's very important to treat people as you'd like to be treated. Ronke, any advice for networking?
Yes, very quickly. I mean, in addition to what everyone else has said, What has worked for me is three things. The way I work. The way I work is number one, work hard. Let people see that you're adding value in the organization you work for. Secondly, how you relate to people, to your peers in the ecosystem. That also works. Thirdly is the initiatives you take in the ecosystem. So those are three things that personally have worked for me. Yes, I attend events and things, but I think those three things have worked for me more than the events I've worked in. I worked in the banking industry for about 24 years. I came out and I'm still working for the banks. And so I know, like 70% of the bank entities, and that's only because of the relationship I had with them when I was in that industry.
Thank you so much, Bonfi. Kemi, I'd love to hear from you. Then I'm going to walk on out and get ready for questions.
I think everyone has said almost everything. I'll just add one, but it's been said in a different way. You know that saying that it's not what you say, but how, it's not what you say that people remember, but how you make them feel? It's the same with networking. That 2 minutes or 5 minutes that you spend with that person, it matters. How you make them feel, what value you add in that 5 minutes can actually transform your life for eternity. Thank you.
Awesome. Let's talk for that, guys. Ladies. All right, so if you have a question, I'd love to come to you. Thank you so much. And make it, I need to put up your hands with confidence, please, as we said, as we heard. All right, I'm going to start at the back and then I'll make my way to, oh, we have mics, oh great. Can somebody please kindly help me with the mics? So please put up your hand if you have a question. Let's go to you over here. So please introduce yourself briefly. Please stand up. Tell us who you are and tell us who the question is for. And as direct as possible, please. Hold on, let's give you a mic.
Good day, everyone. My name is Maki. I'm a front-end developer associated with writer, and I work with Web3 Lady. So my question is to Kemi, and honestly, I have to say this. Yeah. And secondly, how do you get, okay, let me start with mine. I'm in this decade, I study a different course, I study different course than currently. I study guidance and counseling, and I'm in tech now. So my family gets to go and for job. Course is not go and for job. And it's really getting so intense, like making me feel as if I'm not doing enough. And trust me, I'm doing so well for myself, but they don't understand. So in that kind of situation, how do you tell the significant other that what you are doing is good, but you are just trying to get to that ladder?
All right. First of all, thank you for the kind words. So I've stopped using the word work-life balance. I use work-life integration. So what do I do? At the beginning of the school year, I get the school calendar for my kids and I plug into my calendar. Every important activity is in my calendar. So that means that my meetings are planned around it. So it means that if my child is going to meet me at 10 a.m. in the morning, then I can request for my meeting to come in earlier at 8 a.m. That means that I will have to do it. It might be virtual, or we'll have to do it much earlier. If it means that I have to stay about 8 hours in school for some activity because it's that important and I'm working all night, you just have to be able to balance and realize that every part of your life is important and you need to make sure that you give it your best. And I think that's pretty much what I do. Your second question around how do you demonstrate to the people around you that I'm not a Yahoo girl? Because I pretty much work at home and I'm in front of the laptop all day long, right? Sometimes demonstrate to them the finished work. So that you're doing a piece of something. When that piece is done, show it to them. Let them be wow. They feel like, you did that? Then they start to appreciate what you do. Very often, the problem is people can't actually, you can't link that tech work reality, and you have to bring it to life to them. And I think that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Please, we have Gloria, who has been standing because it's a full house. So please, we're very sorry. This question is for Yemi.
Hello, Madam Yemi. Thank you very much for being so inspirational. My name is Gloria Nikwe. I'm the CEO and co-founder of a Fintech company named Komezo. And my question is how to keep up with mentors. You already mentioned that it is our responsibility as mentee to keep up and follow up with our mentors, but we also know that our mentors are very, very busy. We know that they might not reach, they might not even respond to every question or even catch up all the messages. So what do you suggest on how to make sure that every question we have and not even making them overwhelmed with the questions we have? Thank you very much.
Great question. How do you not overwhelm your mentors?
Well, I mean, apart from the connect and the follow-up, right, you must understand the kind of objective that you want out of your relationship, right? And define whether you want your mentoring session to be 3 months, one month, 6 months, or a one-off. And it's critical that, you know, we stay on the course. So what I always do is, what is your objective? What do you want to achieve at the end of our mentoring session? If it's 6 months, I want to know what career I need to do. I'm very versatile. We will then walk through it, that at the end of the 6 months, you will already have a trajectory. So it is not that, and so I will stop, and you call me, I schedule. I actually schedule for all my mentees, right? And then if you don't show up, that's it. I'm done, right? So you have to make sure that you are vested, as vested as the mentor. Because you're taking out time out of positions to give you that 30 minutes, 1 hour, a month, or every week. And you must do the assignments and the homeworks that you're given. So that's how you sort of do. And one critical thing is for you, not because it's Yemi Kerry, you want to have to be your mentor. You have to find someone that aligns with what you want. Don't come and meet me and then start talking about construction or manufacturing, right? I don't have the competence and the experience within those areas to be able to mentor you properly. Yeah? So you need to be able to do that. And for your mentors, it's not only success, you have mentors in different aspects of your life. You heard today, your peers can also mentor you because they go through the same type of thing. Right? So you need to define what you want and then approach the person properly.
Thank you so much for that. Definitely, I hope that answers your question, Gloria. Another thing I'd like to add is, for mentorship, you also have to ensure that while you're learning, you're also adding value. So what can you also do for your mentor? I think it's something that you need to think through. We all have skills that we can add value to. Think about it. Most of you here are social media experts. So think through, while you're getting the information, could you be optimizing your mentors, social media, or whatever it is that you're good at. So we have a question here for Mrs. Kuye. Please introduce yourself.
All right, good day everyone. My name is Omoyeni Femi Ajayi and I'm a law student from Lagos State University. Okay, my question is for Madam Runke, and I would love to know how you handled disappointments. I mean, especially during your startup journey, maybe from investors or people you thought could help your vision, or people that you thought could give you encouragement, but they ended up not showing up. Thank you.
That's a great question.
Hello. Okay. So I have never been an entrepreneur or a startup. I've always been an employee. However, I have taken part including SANA, we have to start from the beginning. So, but I'll tell you a bit about, even as an employee, you face disappointments. You face disappointments, like Branka said, where you work and you work so hard, but you are really not one who would say, I want this, I want that. So you expect that they will see the work you've done and you'll be rewarded appropriately. So there are times or there are occasions when you expected to be promoted and you are not. And as such, yes, you will be disappointed. And you see other people being promoted, particularly men, you know, and so you get disappointed. But in terms of other things, for example, when we started SANA, it's a startup, it was a startup in a way, and we were in the eye of the storm because we needed to onboard like 500,000 agents by December 2020. And we only started with about 40-something thousand. And it was very difficult because all of us were starting. You know, we didn't know the MMOs, we didn't know the Fintech and the super agents. We were just trying to get to know them. And we needed to get the ecosystem together to be able to do this. So of course, there were times that we were scared, times that we were disappointed that we didn't meet where we were meant to, the target we were meant to meet. And there were times we felt that we were let down. But all in all, we just kept on working hard and learned from our mistakes. And then just kept at it. You know, my own advice is just keep going and believe in yourself, and also trust what you're doing because you know what you're doing. And somehow we always get there. I just always get there somehow because I know that I can keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah.
Absolutely, you definitely will get there. And I think we should all take no's as the next opportunity. No's don't mean life is over. It just means that you have another opportunity to do better or to try again. So we have a question here for Dr. Markey. And then we have a question for Branka as well.
Okay, so good morning everyone, and thank you to our panelists. My name is Uwatine Adarabwe, a student of the Lagos State University Faculty of Law, and I'm also a product designer. So as a young teenage girl, as a body young teenage girl working remotely, then I'm also studying law. I would say that I've learned the essential of what I'm learning. I'm learning what exactly the essential of hard work is, and as one of the panelists has mentioned that you work hard, that people know that you are the one in that particular space. So I've always envisioned, the soft girl life, and the soft girl life is not soft. It's actually very, very hard. So as a body youngster in any industry, I would, probably of my choice that I would choose. I want to be out there. I want to know my onions. I want to get the work done. So how essentially do I actually build that? So are there strategic positionings or courses to take or go through mentorship or some boot camp or something? So that is my question.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that question. If I understood you correctly, you're looking for Dr. Markey to give you advice on how you can deepen the knowledge that you already have. Is that captured? Okay, that's good.
Okay, so the question I'm asking now directly is, I'm learning the essentials of hard work and what hard work actually is, but we all know as for youngsters, it's actually very, very hard to do some stuff, to get a job in the industry that you want or whatnot. So how essentially that actually build myself to show that I have that value and I can get the work done, or if peradventure I can't, I'm ready to learn to get the work done.
Okay, very good question. Even though it's not very clear, but I'll try to answer it. So what I get is you're looking at what really is hard work. How can you get yourself to be sure that you're working hard and you're doing things right? And you mentioned about courses. So what I would say is, hard work does not mean working 24 hours a day. No, that's not what hard work means. It means doing things right. So I have a mantra, do it right the first time. So it means doing it right. And if you're given something to do it right. Do it well the first time. Rather than just do something in a sloppy way and think, oh, I've done it. Doesn't matter, I've been given this task and I've achieved it. No, make sure you give it your best. And something I would ask you to do always, when you're doing any task and you finish it, look at it and say to yourself, is this the best I can do? If your answer is yes, you are okay to give up on that task, to say I have finished it. That's what hard work is. Hard work means doing it right the first time, doing it well, not putting too much. And if you have to slave over it to get it right, do that for that period. Now, in terms of courses, or what you can do to bring up yourself, the good thing is there's so many free courses today online. You can find courses of every single thing that you want. A lot of them are free. So take advantage of those courses and use them. You then also mentioned about getting a job. If you have the right skills or you don't have the right skills. What employers look out for? So what I look out for at times when we're recruiting is not somebody who has exactly what we're looking for. And look how, can this person be trained? Is she trainable? And you exhibit that in the interview by showing that, yes, I understand this, I know about this, but I've done this, I've had experiences where I didn't know anything about it, but I was able to achieve it. So you're trying to show the interviewer that I can do it even if I don't have the right skills. And that's why in express payments today, there are people we recruited who didn't have IT knowledge. We brought them into application support because we saw that they had the drive, they had the will and the energy to learn. And they came in, they learned SQL language, they learned how to do some of these things. One of them even studied, I think, English, and she learned it. So you don't have to always have everything you're looking for, but you demonstrate that you're willing to learn, employers will be willing to recruit you. I hope that answers you. If there's any other thing, please can you mention it? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to check here to see if there's any questions, because we have some very young people in the audience here. There's one here. Okay, let me just go. This is a great sign that people are hungry for learning. So please ask your question in under 20 seconds if you can. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is John Waffle, and my question is to Branka. As a young woman that is trying to build up the career ladder, go up the career ladder, it's one of the things I struggle a lot with is imposter syndrome. I try a lot to put myself out there, to listen, to ask questions, but still, when I'm inside and I know I work so hard, I stay up so late, I try to do things and structure things, but I still struggle a lot with imposter syndrome. It's actually a big thing with me coming out in front of everyone to say this, but how do you deal with it, or have you ever been in that position, and how did you manage it?
Let's clap for her for that question, because obviously it wasn't easy for her to come out with that. And we're very grateful that if you got that, she's asking how to battle imposter syndrome. How does she deal with imposter syndrome?
First of all, I have to say, it's lovely seeing you here, John. So we actually met in Lady in Tech second edition last week. And this second edition actually had seasoned ladies in tech, and for the first time it had a group of very young ladies at the beginning of their careers in tech, and John was one of them. So thank you for coming here today. And as I said during the first session, it's mindset, and it takes time to change, to correct that mindset. I will try to keep it short. I worked in risk for many years, and I was always thinking that what I was doing was nothing special, because it was very rational, very data-driven in numbers, and for me it looked like simple. So I always felt like it's nothing. Even when I was getting promotions, like I was thinking, okay, I was lucky. We are built that way, or we were raised that way that we don't tap ourselves on our back. And as I said, I worked always for men superiors, so none of them ever tapped me on my back. So, but that's not what is needed. What is needed for you to learn how to see the value in what you are contributing. Either you are working, building something for yourself, or you are working for others. You have to learn, and there are tools that you can learn how you fit into this big puzzle. How everything that you are doing on the daily level contributes to bottom line. Once you make that connection, you will know how to better perform, and you have to train your mindset to say, I'm doing this, and I'm contributing, and this is the way how you're going to learn your value. So, but most important thing, and I think all of us underlined here, make sure that you deliver value. So make sure that your skills are at par with what is needed. And one more thing, it's also not a disaster to change career. So we live in a tough times, to put it like that. And I do come from Europe, but my country also went through a lot. So I wanted to be an artist, and I studied architecture. When I realized that I can't make for a living, I switched to the least thing I wanted to do in my life, investment banking. And it's not, there are only few people in this world that are lucky enough to do what they are passionate about. If you learn that all aspects of your life are important, some of us learned that in later years. I was not that lucky to realize that in my 20s. So that all aspects of your life are important. Then you will have more courage to say, to look in other fields what you want to achieve, and then to select a job, to select an environment that will bring you there. But be the best version of yourself. Give your best. Don't work hard, like in terms of hours. Work hard in terms of the value you bring. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we have time for one last question. I'm so sorry. I feel like a bad person for not taking people's questions, but time has gone by. I think there'll be opportunities for us to network after.
Thank you. Just following up from what Nanka said, my name is Noni Uboma. I took a major risk in going back into school to do a PhD at University College London in Innovation and Public Policy, having been the CEO of MTN Nigeria Foundation. So I understand what you mean. So you must be bold to take new steps, redefine yourselves and everything. So my question, my PhD is in Innovation and Public Policy. And I was really expecting to see people from the public sector here as well. But I guess my question is for any one of you, really. What role do you think the government can play in setting the tone to enable more innovation and to enable innovative solutions to solve some of our societal problems and create value for us? So what role do you think the public sector has to play, and the government in particular, to help to enable a lot more women, but not just women, but just enable technology, that revolution in technology to take place? Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's for everyone who wants to answer, and that will be our last question.
Maybe I can take a stab at that. I think that the current government is well aware, right? And having put one of us in technology in a ministerial position is also showing that. One of the critical things that they're doing is they're looking at talents of the future with the programs 3M, and even though we are not seeing it today, they are building the next generation of talents, digital talents, that will take over in the next 5 to 10 years. That's one critical thing. The second critical thing is that they're looking at the different frameworks. Whether it's infrastructure, they're looking at also the AI framework, and these are elements that will develop the digital ecosystem in a couple of years. So I think the mind is in the right place. However, for those that are working now, when we say that people should have technical skills and technology skills, do we have the real enabling environment to support the private sector organizations that will be taking on these talents for the future of work? That is one question, and that is one element we need to look at. Because if we say that 90% of our economy is being led by the SMEs, and the SMEs do not have a good environment of doing business, and we expect them to also onboard the talent that is coming out, then we are not aligning what we are saying with what we're doing. So that for me is a critical way. How do we, as a government, begin to support innovation and support the development of SMEs so that they can really hold this economy for the future?
Thank you so much. I think let's start for that, and I'm just going to round up our panel because we're just a bit over time. So my last and final question to all the panelists, and I'll start with you, Kevin. If you had a magic wand, what would you do about the state of fintech in Nigeria or globally? So if someone gave you a magic wand, what would be the one thing you would do in less than 20 seconds? And then we'll just go around and then close up.
I think I'll go back to the school and change the curriculum.
Curriculum. What about you, Mrs. Queen?
I think I'll sanitize what we have today.
Nice. Up for that. You got that?
That's a hard one, but as long as you're holding magic wand, then I say I will change a mindset. Of all players. Yes.
You're very good on mindset. You said that many times today. What about you, Dr. Maki?
What I would do is I would insist all the companies, the fintech companies, and even the CBN, that they have 30% of women in management on the board, of people in management as women, 30% standard for everyone, because I think that will give women a chance to move up and be well represented.
I will do all of the above.
I love that. All of the above. Very typical. All right, well, please join me in thanking our speakers, Kemi, Dr. Marty, Barka, Mrs. Kule, thank you so very much for being with us today. I think we've spoken a lot. I hope that you're inspired to one day be one of these women on the panel. If not them, be better than them, because that's what we really want for the next generation. It's been a pleasure. We've spoken about personal stories in fintech. We've spoken about how some of these women started over 35 years ago. We talked about the technical skills that you can get in the fintech ecosystem, and we've also spoken about how you can access finance as SMEs. Again, my name is Lele Balde Cameron, and it's been great moderating this panel. Let's put our hands together and let's take our panel picture. I don't know if the photographers are available. And please stick around so you can network and speak to the ladies as well.
Please let's put our hands together for them once again. Thank you to all our speakers, Broke Kuye, Braham Marchayas, Dr. Maki Idowu, Kemi Okunsoya, Yemi Kerry, and of course the beautiful moderator, Lele Balde Cameron. Okay, so we will have some of our directors join them upstage to take pictures. Please let's put our hands together for them. Oh, okay, I think the MC should join them. Please put your hands together for the MC as well. Thank you very much to all our speakers, everyone in the panel session. Thank you so much for such an amazing time. Thank you.
and gentlemen. Once again, please let's appreciate them as they return to their seats. Thank you so much. I'm sure we learned so much from that panel session. One of my take-homes from that is, the essence of mentorship and how fast mentorship can help you run, regardless of your level and where you are right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, can we please be seated? The event is still ongoing. We'll be doing the networking and pictures right after the event. Please, can we get seated? The pictures will be taken right after the event. Please don't forget that the main conference is going on at the main hall right behind this building. And the exhibition is also ongoing. Please do well whilst we take a break to go for the exhibition as well. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please, can we take the pictures after the event? The event is still ongoing. Thank you. It just took about 10 minutes of our time, but it's okay. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, to take us further in the event is a goodwill message. But before we get to the goodwill message, I have an assignment here for everyone. We know that we now live in a very digital world and almost everything we do now revolves around social media. So it is time for us to take up our phones. If you have your phones in the room, can you have it? Can you put it on and go to your camera setting, please? Take a selfie, use the hashtag #WomenInFintech and tag Digital PayExpo on Instagram. So please do well to tag Digital PayExpo on Instagram and use the hashtag. So I'm going to be leading by example by taking a selfie with everyone in the room. Are we ready? Are we ready? So when I say Women in Fintech, you say Digital PayExpo 2024. Are we ready for that? So let's just do a dry run. This is not the original one, but it's just a dry run. Are we ready? So Women in Fintech. Thank God I was not recording. So this is the energy that you used to give me the vibe. No. No, please. Can we raise up the energy in this room? Women in Fintech. Thank you. So Women in Fintech. So are you ready for the video now? Okay. Do you want to be on your feet or do you want to be sitting? You want to be seated. Lagos women. All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3, go. Women in Fintech. Digital PayExpo 2024. Make some noise. So put the hashtag Digital PayExpo 2024 and the hashtag Women in Fintech. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the goodwill message. Please join me as I make welcome on stage for her goodwill message. Deborah Anaya will be, who is an American tax lawyer and founder, Hilton Top Solicitors. Please let's put our hands together for her.
Thank you. All right, thank you for having me here. I'll reintroduce myself because the name I heard sounded so strange. I know that my ladies here will be wondering, is that the same person I know? I'm Deborah Enyo-Negumi, the managing partner and founder of Hilton Top Solicitors and the convener of the Hilton Top Solicitors Female Virtual Internship and Mentorship program. As a young girl coming into the Nigerian law school, I was called into the Nigerian bar in 2010. I came down to Lagos, started law practice, and I was so disconnected from the world. I had no clue on what the reality held for me. And then being newly married, I had the challenges trying to find my feet. And I know that I wasn't privileged to things like this, platforms like this, that I could get mentored. And along the way, trying to find my feet, fast forward to when I started giving birth, I know that most of the friends that I went to will tell me, you know you're married, madam, and you're expecting a baby now, and if we give you this job, you might probably perform. I haven't been given that opportunity. But fast forward, I took all the lessons from all the things I had gone through, and I put them together, and then of course had this divine ordination that the lessons I have picked from my own personal experience, that I should also use that to mentor the younger generation. So what does the Hilton Talks to Visitors Female Virtual Internship and Mentorship Program does? It helps to build the next generation female talent, legal talent into the emerging tech space. And how do we do this? We expose them by my own level and that of industry experts, that we expose them to the emerging technology skills and knowledge such as fintech, blockchain, every skill necessary, building their confidence also and building their leadership skill to be able to participate in this digitally immersed world. Now it starts not just by telling them at the later stage that you need to come into the fintech, but it starts from harnessing them right from the four walls of the universities and even younger level. And that's what brought about this kind of collaboration with Intermark Consulting, to be able to bring the phenomenal, amazing ladies from the various universities, communities. I appreciate you all. You all look amazing. I say a very big thank you to you for committing to your personal and professional development and coming here to share in the values that have been dished out to every one of us today. Now we have been told and we have learned from everything on the panel sessions, the various loopholes, the gaps that are in the fintech industry. This is a great exposition, and this will help you to chart your course and your journey in this space. And I hope that you're able to harness this information to put together and be visionaries, leaders, champions, because that's what the platform stands for. And that's why we are here today, to expose you to the opportunities, the limitless opportunities that the fintech ecosystem offers, that the emerging technology industry offers, and for you to be able to chart your own routes and how about that for yourself. So I appreciate you, I appreciate the organizing company Intermark Consulting. Thank you so much for this opportunity and for this collaboration. Thank you everyone in attendance today, and thank you to my amazing, phenomenal ladies for being here. And I cannot end this without thanking my three beautiful daughters for following me to be here today, because I believe that charity begins from home. As we build and we try to build the emerging and the next generation emerging female talent, we should also carry the younger ones along from the home. Thank you so much. I'm so happy and delighted to be here today and to be a part of this great initiative. And I know that the sky is just the beginning for every one of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ma, for that goodwill message. It is now time for us to call it a wrap on the event today. I hope we had a swell time and we learned so much. How many of us were able to take home so many amazing things? Kindly wave, let me see. Thank you, thank you. It's been such an amazing event today. From our lineup of speakers, the panel session was such a beautiful one. Thank you very much for joining us today. We still have another event coming up at 1 p.m. If you want to be a part of that, it's called the Young Founders Forum. Kindly sit back and feel relaxed. There is also lunch and snacks for you outside, so please go outside. When you get outside, you see a waiter going around with the snacks. You can just pick whatever you like there and have a fantastic afternoon. Thank you very much.